is the business of boxing.
Made all that money and had the biggest stage in boxing on Netflix, and that is really the best they could do.
This thing is a fighter needs to take almost everything.
He knew that he could not beat Bud Crawford, which is why they basically paid him $100 million.
Canelo dropped a bombshell when he confessed on Joe Rogan's podcast that he held back against Crawford. He admitted he fought at half speed, stayed planted, and didn't use his full arsenal. He even suggested money and business influenced the fight, saying he was paid to tone it down, letting Crawford look better than he truly is.
That works. It's not pay-per-view. They still
Netflix putting up money.
so I'm saying so they don't get no back end then.
No, there is no back end. There's ticket sales.
Yeah, you know, pay-per-view, the back end is the most.
There's no big pay-per-view.
I guess if you give me $50 million up front, I don't really care about a back.
This admission confirmed what many already sensed after the fight. Fans and pros immediately felt something was wrong. Canelo barely used his trademark jab, rarely threw combinations, and showed no urgency as rounds slipped away. The punch stats reflected one of his quietest performances ever. While many assumed age was the issue, his confession changed the narrative completely.
He don't have the punching power, but he has the skills that's necessary.
Crawford.
Yeah.
So you were very impressed with his performance? Would you say?
Well, yeah. The point of the matter is, I knew if it came down to if somebody got knocked out, I thought Crawford would probably get knocked out.
Yeah.
But
Oscar De La Hoya was among the first to call it out, asking publicly if Canelo even trained, noting that he looked unusually slow and weak. Having seen Canelo at peak sharpness for years, Oscar felt this version wasn't the fighter he knew. To him, it couldn't be explained by age alone. Something felt off from the start.
When he got hit by Crawford and he took that deep breath, it's frustrating. Don't get me wrong. Canelo facing the right opponent that's going to stay in front of him, that's going to fight, that's going to make it a brawl, Canelo knocks him out. So I'm not saying Canelo's shot or done. No, it's...
Veteran Gabe Rosado echoed this, saying Canelo had flat feet, no jab, no combos, just slow single shots. He pointed out that in big fights with guys like Golovkin, Canelo was aggressive, doubling the jab and firing counters non-stop. But against Crawford, none of that style appeared, perfectly aligning with what Canelo later admitted.
Seeing Bud catch those shots off his glove.
He looked amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. He'd go to a body and he'd catch that and come up with an uppercut. You know, just all those things that seem...
He looked great.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do that to ever.
No one has. Yeah, he's the best.
Canelo. Ever.
Yeah, he's the best.
And I think he would do that to Canelo on his best day. And Canelo said it, he goes, I couldn't figure him out.
No.
Claressa Shields took a different angle, suggesting Canelo's body was simply wearing down, that his legs and explosiveness were fading. Meanwhile, David Benavidez continued accusing Canelo of avoiding real danger and seeking safer matchups. After the fight, he only intensified that claim, suggesting Canelo wasn't interested in true risk anymore.
With him for his boxing business?
Because, you know, the fighters always get the less money. And some of the fighters, they need to take the money, the guaranteed money, right? Because they don't make a lot of money in the fights, right? But they are.
According to Benavidez and others, Canelo has shifted toward pure financial gain, with future fights chosen for business, not challenge. De La Hoya pushed back, saying Canelo isn't finished, but needs smart matchmaking. If you put the right style in front of him, Oscar said, Canelo can still look dominant. It's about selecting the right opponent and maximizing what's left.
You see, Canelo is a strong fighter, and every punch he throws comes with power, right? That breaks down the body. Physically, his body is breaking down. Plus, he just had a kid. Canelo wants to go enjoy his life He wants to keep his wits, keep his mind together, stay sharp, and go enjoy a little bit of that money that he just made. But he could not pass the torch to somebody that didn't respect the game. Canelo's at the top of the list. But
De La Hoya believes Canelo can still thrive, but primarily against styles that cater to him. Eddie Hearn, however, sees a bigger opportunity, a Crawford rematch. He says fans want to know if Canelo will make real adjustments or be pushed closer to retirement. Hearn believes Canelo could reinvent his approach and cause real problems for Crawford again.
You've been training Crawford for years. Is he retired or is he going to keep fighting?
He just got to take a break.
Is Terence Crawford retired or is he going to keep fighting?
Oh, he's going to keep fighting.
He's going to keep fighting?
Yeah.
You're the man. Be man. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
In their first fight, Canelo controlled the early rounds with sharp counters that kept Crawford cautious, but the final stretch flipped everything. Rounds 9 to 12 belonged to Crawford, forcing Canelo onto defense. Hearn believes that if Canelo manages the later rounds better next time, the entire result could shift, which is exactly why the rematch is so compelling.
Oh, we knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit. No, I tried.
Chris Eubank Jr. shares that belief, insisting Canelo still has what it takes to flip the narrative. He argues Canelo's power and experience are still dangerous if applied fully. Trainer Robert Garcia agrees, saying the difference comes down to hunger. Canelo cannot ease up late again. The tools remain, but the fire behind them is what matters now.
I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't.
For Crawford, the win opened huge possibilities, but also the debate over who he faces next. Many think he'll avoid the most dangerous names like Benavidez or Bivol, who bring heavy power and size. Instead, he may choose opponents with big names and lower risk, such as Jermall Charlo or Hamza Shiraz, safer fights with guaranteed payouts.
As a Canelo fan, I don't really want to see that. I don't think there will be much difference. I don't think Canelo can bring anything to the table that's going to surprise Crawford. He's a different fighter now. If this was 10 years ago, yes, I think the fight could have gone a different way. But there's no point in even thinking that because Canelo's a different fighter now. They fought today. They fought when Crawford is older as well. So I can't be trying to say, well, Canelo's not.
The business of boxing is driving everything. Crawford now holds leverage for massive paydays, but only if he picks opponents strategically. Canelo's choices also matter. He can push for redemption against Crawford and create a monster rematch, or pivot to a more comfortable matchup that signals the final stretch of his career.
Terence Crawford and Canelo. Personally, I do not want to see a rematch. Usually rematches are in order when it's a very close fight and you can't really tell, which fighter won. There's a lot of close rounds, swing rounds. That wasn't the case in this fight. Terence Crawford won pretty handedly. I personally scored the fight 9-3. Being generous, you can give it 8-4. Now,
though critics say Canelo is chasing checks, many argue the money can't undo the position he placed himself in with this fight. Boxing today is dominated by financial incentives. If the numbers work, the fight happens, regardless of age or mileage. Canelo may have already been slowing down, but the payday was too big to ignore. The question now is whether it was worth the physical cost, or if this was one money fight too far.
Coca-Cola, I'm buying.
I risked my life in the ring, and everybody's making money too. It's not that they don't making money; they making money, but the fighter need to make more than ever.
To have just one name at 160, 154, I mean, it's just hard for him, ideally, to just see a fight. No names designated at the moment. Would you be okay to see him retire?
I would. Look, he's had a great career also. Yes, he's older.
And the only thing I can tell him or give him advice in is get a new trainer. I can't advise him on retiring or staying in box. That's a very personal decision. But I can say, hey, get a new trainer.
If we see a fight where Canelo Alvarez looks old, and guess what? He's old.
Right?
And it might be a case of him being less than he was. And then